Here we have it then. The streaking has been applied. That's basically the factory finish. And I've also given a coat of sealant acrylic spray. And now for the task of adding the individual pilot's insignia. And in this case, we look here at the prototype. Hans Koerners, I think that's how you pronounce it. He had a lightning strike or zigzag down the side and across the top of the fuselage. So what I'm going to attempt to do is do the top part, and let's see how it works. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut out some strips and just sellotape it together and mock up the zigzag on the top of the fuselage and see what it looks like. So I'll cut some strips and we'll get started. I've cut some strips of the graph paper or squared paper, and what I'm going to try and do is lay it out in the manner I can see from the photographs. So I'm just going to tape it in place roughly. So we have the end, there'll be an arrow on the end there that sort of finishes there. Just put it there for the moment. And then you come down, I think roughly in that manner. And then it seems to create a W, letter W, I think. Just put it there for the moment. See if I've got this right. I don't want to cut the actual fabric, that would be a disaster, wouldn't it? Just roughly laying it out here. Now we can always just move things around as we see fit. Oh, that blade sharp. No, that angle looks wrong. I'm working from a photograph off camera here, trying to get it right. And there will inevitably be some trial and error. That's why I'm doing it like this rather than try to tape it on or mask it on directly. That looks okay. I'll draw this out again when I'm happy with the layout. Cut another length. And the angles look right to me. When I've got that and I'm happy with that, we'll take it off and start again. It's a bit like when I'm actually using paper to make a template for a windscreen. You never get it right first time, that's why you produce a template. And that's why you do it on, see that angle there is incorrect, I think. So it's definitely more of a W. That's better. And then one piece there. It's very fiddly, isn't it? All part of the fun. It's a funny task to do today. The morning after the night before, first time Newcastle United football team, my local team, for those people who were across the pond and don't know the ins and outs of the English football game or soccer game. First time in 70 years they won the cup. They've won a trophy. So there were quite a few celebrations last night. I couldn't bear to watch the game, to be honest with you. I'm not a massive football fan. But I just didn't feel that it was going to happen. But it did. So well done to the Toon. Away the lads, as Jimmy Carter said when he visited the Northeast. Right, I think that's nearly there. Of course, it's not lying flat now, is it? But that's nearly what I'm after, with an arrow on the end. We'll take that off, straighten it up, and then try version 2. That's what I've been looking for. That's about the 20 minutes worth of fiddling about and getting the arrow to go in the right direction. I'm happy with that now. That's all just a paper template. Now I have a choice. I can cut out from one piece of masking film and lay it on, but I think that's going to be problematic because we're going round the curve here. So I'm going to very carefully use masking tape to tape it. I'm going to mark on and dismantle it a piece at a time as I mask it off. And then when I'm happy with it, I will be sealing the edges. In this case, because it's a streak pattern, I can't use the solid colour to paint along the edge. I'm going to use a clear varnish to paint the edge to stop any creep, and then I'm going to spray it white. So the next stage is going to be carefully masking it out. Sooty the cat's arrived, so that means mayhem. So I'll make sure he's settled down before I start that. I don't want to be interrupted. And then we'll get back to adding that. Even in the paper, you can see how it brightens the whole scheme up. And of course, there's one on each side. But there you go. That's the initial mask completed, the fiddly bit. So if I take this off now, oh, it's underneath there. What I need to do now, I've dropped a clanger there, never mind. What I need to do now is to complete the masking process. Then we'll give it a flash. Take that off. We'll give it a flash and we'll see what it looks like. Masked and ready to fire. So I'm going to go for it and we'll see what it turns out like. You'll see the results. Time to take this off. I'm expecting to experience some bleed. If there is, well, I'll just have to deal with it, but let's get this off. The problem is that the low-tack tape is great because it doesn't pull off any of the paint that's underneath, which we obviously don't want. The downside is it sometimes doesn't form a good seal. So let's see how we go. Just taking off the paper first. The arrow part at the top's where I'm expecting to have the main problems, but we'll see. So far so good. A tiny bit of bleed there. I can touch those up with a little bit of the green, I hope, when it all dries. I didn't seal the edge, I just risked it. We'll see whether that's paid off. Yeah, tiny amount of bleed there as well. I think I was right to go with the tape rather than the masking sheet, because I'm sure that wouldn't have been great on a flat surface. Pulling the tape away from myself. Yeah, this is where it's gonna, yeah, tiny little bit of bleed there. But I can touch that up. The last little bits to make that. There we go. I think that's quite acceptable. Tiny little amounts, and I'll touch them up with a fine brush. I'll do that, and then we'll have a final look at the finished product. Well, that's that task done. I'm really rather pleased with it. It needed very little in the way of a little touch up. So once we have the lightning strike down both sides, I think that'll sort of start to pop a bit. I hope to pick up the blue paint for the underside of the wing today or tomorrow, and then I'll be able to push on with that. Yeah, very pleased. Makes a difference, doesn't it? Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, why not? Do so, and then you can enjoy the rest of this journey. Bye for now.